Another episode of Detonation. I have post-debate, fit and fighting, Rachel Haywire. She's back in the house. How are you going, Rachel Haywire?
I'm going and going.
That's good. So it's all three people done now. Mr. Holsopple came on 2 days ago. Ben Zion came on pretty much straight after, and now I've got you back to hear post-debate, reflections. Tell me, how did you find the debate?
I had a lot of time. I had a good time performing. I thought it was hilarious. I got in a lot of remarks about my policies and had a good time tramping around, made a lot of serious remarks. And yeah. I wish we would have had a bigger audience, though. I was quite disappointed with the turnout. I think, my role in this is to expand the outreach of the United States Transhumanist Party. I've been doing a lot of outreach to a lot of people outside of the transhumanist echo chamber, and I would have liked to see more people tune in, but I continue to get the word out to as many people as possible. And yeah, maybe for the third debate that we're now having, more people will show up. So
Yeah, this is a good point. So I'll be able to run that debate much better. I'll have the candidates coming in, but before the debate, I'll have hopefully another commentator. We can talk about things before and after, and then interview people after, and make a real show out of it. That'll be really good because if you want more people to join, you have to make it more exciting. It's a consumer-based,
right.
attention-based economy, and this isn't on you. Zoltan did some excellent commentary saying, he's explaining his ways to expand the reach and things. And, I'm not too worried about it because everyone coordinating, this is the first primary season. This is the first type of this style of debate. So, it will grow and it will grow from here, but you'll all have to work in concert in order to pump those numbers up. But apart from the numbers, the questions, what did you think of the questions?
I think the questions were great. They were definitely provocative, and I did what I could to entertain people. I feel like the party could have done a better job promoting the debate, to be honest. I mean, I definitely promoted it to as many people as possible. I had a lot of people tune in on my end. I feel like the outreach of the party, it really doesn't go that far, and I find that to be unfortunate. I think that there is, as I mentioned in the debate, too much concern with respectability, and I did what I could to make things more fun and exciting for people. And a lot of people, they complained. They said the party wouldn't be taken seriously, but a lot of people, they had a good time watching me perform. And
It's a
and I
good,
just want to make it
it's a good argument because in the context of like Donald Trump is the president, yet he's the
yeah,
greatest entertainer on earth. So
exactly,
with the most
exactly.
power, you have the most entertainment factor as well. So this
He's
is a good
good.
point. It's not a stupid point.
You've got to make people laugh. You've got to keep people engaged. People don't want to see a boring policy hawk just talking about policy this, policy that. You've got to give them a show. Politics is entertainment. Politics is performance. Politics is the greatest show on earth. And if you don't give people a show, they're going to fall asleep. I mean, I remember pulling a pillow out during the debate because of how bored I was. Now, if you're not giving people a show, they're not going to be plugged in. And the transhumanist party, if we're so concerned with respectability, nobody's ever going to watch us. And what I want to do is bring more people into the party. No, the party needs to be a party, not a part dull, and I'm not trying to disturb anybody. Like, I'm working within the rules of the party, I'm not trying to upset anything. I'm not some saboteur. I'm just saying we need more members. We need more people tuning in, and we need to put on a good show so we can increase our membership.
And are you going to continue with this strategy of name calling because that was something that came up.
No, I have no interest in that. The only reason I did that was because of the remarks that Ben Zion had made about me. He had called me a street urchin from a Dickens novel, which I found kind of funny because I personally love Oliver Twist. It's one of my favorite musicals. He called me a schizophrenic, which, by the way, is ridiculous because one of the big things about my platform is advocating for neurodiversity. I've never been diagnosed as schizophrenic, by the way, but I'm a big fan of schizophrenic artists. I think that they're some of the most incredible painters. One of my best friends is schizophrenic. She's an incredible musician. One of my favorite musicians, Gary Newman, is Asperger's. I have minor Asperger's myself. So to use schizophrenic as an insult, to use poverty as an insult, and then to advocate for UBI, that seems like not somebody who is, the progressive libertarian that they claim to be. So I was just firing back and name calling for fun, for sport. I was just doing my role as a politician. But I'm happy to adhere to terms of civility. I have no problem with that. I mean, my platform speaks on its own. My positions have been stated clearly.
Yeah. If you watch Gennadi's explanation that we did yesterday, that lays out some of his concerns. But at the same time, I did question him and probe him into his role, into campaigning, his role into the negative stuff. And he does say that he has to be a sort of an umpire figure, a sort
Right.
of a, but he's not. He can't totally dictate the language. He's concerned about like litigious language, false accusations and things like this, and a more civil, more constructive debate. What do you think about the overhauls? I mean, it's getting overhauled. So we were heading into this big finale, and then suddenly, boom, you got 6 more weeks. I mean, are you happy or not happy?
I find it annoying because I'm a freelancer in the gig economy. As you know, part of my platform is medical insurance for freelancers in the gig economy through the blockchain. I need to work. I'm a writer. I run a design agency. I need to focus on my design work. I need to focus on my writing. I find it annoying that it's going on for another 6 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to deal with this. But part of being a transhumanist is endurance. It's transcendence. And I'm going to continue with this election. I'm not going to drop out of the race. I find it to be a little bit of a cowardly move. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I had a lot of momentum, and I think this is just a way for members to bitch and complain because I was in the lead. There was a Facebook poll, and I was in the lead. I'm not claiming that I was in the lead of the transhumanist party election, but I was in the lead of this Facebook poll by a landslide. I had 41 votes. The other candidates were very far behind me. I had a lot of momentum, and I think that people were getting scared. I find it annoying, but I'm going to keep campaigning. Despite the minor setback, I'm going to continue on because that's what we do as transhumanists. We transcend, we prosper on, and that's what we're going to do on the Haywire team.
This is a good attitude to have. I mean, yes, it's annoyed some candidates. Some are enjoying it. Mr. Holsopple and Ben Zion, for example, have embraced it. But
of course they are because they were running behind. But you know what? We're transhumanists and we prosper on.
And this is a good attitude to have, I think, that you're not going to drop out. I mean, dropping out would signal that you wouldn't be ready to run the party anyway. But
right.
you're entitled to have your, because you obviously you would have built up a campaign strategy, you would have budgeted and done all the other things. But now I guess you have to. It's the executive, so but that's a good attitude to have, and I'm pleased to see that, Rachel.
Of course. I mean, I'll be honest. People were saying what they've done to you is undemocratic. They were saying I was getting the Bernie treatment. And you know what I thought? Bernie's supporters came back even more powerful. I was thinking about how Bernie was treated within his own party. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. The Transhumanist Party, it's not the Democratic Party, but Bernie's supporters, they came back with a vengeance. Now they have a podcast. They have the whole dirtbag left thing going on. They've got this Red Scare podcast, and they're doing pretty well now. The Bernie Bros are more powerful than ever before, and so the Haywire supporters shall be.
6 weeks. 6 weeks is quite a long time. So you could probably dial back on the campaigning for a few weeks and do some work, and then hit the road closer to the time, because you have a lot of previous campaign content to go on. I mean, I'm not advocating essentially drop out and don't grow the pie. I am just saying that it could mean just a bit of a respite before and a re-strategization time.
Definitely. I have a lot of time to rethink, re-strategize, and I do have a lot of time to rest because I have a lot of content, a lot of video work, a lot of amazing images, a lot of campaign content, and it's good to rest and take a break, go swimming in my one piece.
There will be bikini photos. That's breaking news. So, how do you plan to go forward from here? I mean, we know what's going on. So, Yeah. So apart from more bikini photos, are we expecting anything else?
Well, I plan to go to synagogue, being that I'm a Jewish woman. I'm representing today with my earrings. So, bless the Lord. And I have my battle axe. So I'm going to charge forward with my occult paganism. And we have the Haywire Coven now. Jessica Clark has started the Haywire Coven, and we plan to bring forth the Haywire victory through chaos magic.
Can you explain this notion of when you say the occult, it brings forth a variety of images in people's heads and minds. What do you mean by that word?
The world of the mind, in which anything is possible. Through higher consciousness, we can create a new world in which we manifest our desires through a higher state of consciousness, whether it's through sigil magic or whether it's through manipulating reality with our thoughts and ideas. We can alter metaphysics through the manipulation of the metasphere.
Okay, cool. So there have been a lot of accusations on the party page about you being a Nazi. I mean, you wrote the new alt-right.
Okay. Whoa. It was the new alt-right. Earrings. Jewish. I am a Jewish anarchist. I go to synagogue.
Yeah, sure. So,
my
but
family, Verekata Adonai. Olive that vet.
But that doesn't. Even in New York, there's plenty of anti-Zionist Jews or anti-Jewish Jews.
Okay, so is this like the believer?
Nazi
is it like the Jewish Nazi where he's like sig hailing while he's reading the Torah? Am I like the believer now?
Well, this is the accusations. I mean, I mean, if you're a Jew or not, I mean, it doesn't mean that you might not have Nazi sympathies.
Okay, well, I'm more of like a neo-Strasserist. No, oh shit, did I just say that? No, here's my feeling about Hitler. Great uniforms, bad ideas. I just don't like the way that he killed Jews. I mean, he didn't understand Nietzsche, okay? True story. When Nietzsche was talking about the Übermensch, he was talking about a higher race of free thinkers. He wasn't talking about a white Aryan brotherhood. He was talking about a higher race of free thinkers. And some of these people included Jews. I mean, I had a discussion with some neo-Nazis back in the day, and they were talking about like, hell, Hitler Übermensch. And I'm like, you guys didn't understand Nietzsche at all. Nietzsche was talking about a higher race of free thinkers. Some of these people were Jewish, and some of the Übermensch were not Aryan. And I schooled them on what Nietzsche was actually talking about, because I hate it when people don't understand what Nietzsche was talking about. I mean, I'm a Nietzschean. And when people don't understand Nietzsche's basic doctrine of the Übermensch, I explain Nietzsche to them. So nothing pisses me off more. And in the new art, right, I talk about 89, and I school all the 1488ers, and I say, no, it's not 88, it's 89. 89 is what comes after 88. It's not about having white skin. It's about being a free thinker. So I'm actually really against neo-Nazis because it's about the imperium of the mind. It's not about your skin color. It's about a higher race of the mind. And I've always been so vocal about this. Everybody who knows me knows this.
Okay, where do you stand on the debates on IQ and genetics and different races of people and other things like that? Because if it's higher states on the mind, there are debates that there's higher and lower consciousness within races and things like that. Is that something you take into consideration, or are you more an equalitist when it comes to all people are equal across all the different races?
Equality doesn't exist. Thomas Sowell put it right when he said, no man is equal to any other man. No man is even equal to himself on any different day. HBD is real, but that doesn't mean that I care. I mean, of course there are IQ differences, but I'm more interested in individuality, not in group averages. I don't care about the group average. I care about the individual differences. What matters to me is the individual. So it's not that I don't think that statistics and charts are valid. It's just that they don't matter to me because I judge the individual and not the group. I'm interested in the individual. I'm an anarchist, I'm a libertarian. For me, the individual, the outliers have always been more interesting to me than the group. So yeah, statistics are real. I'm not going to be like, science is fake, but I'm not really that interested in these statistics because I like to judge each individual based on my personal experience with them.
Does the word or does the name William Luther Pierce mean anything to you?
Um, William Pierce, was he like some Nazi eugenicist?
Yeah. So he was essentially like the hard right, white nationalist type in the United States.
Okay.
Like a hard one. And
I
he.
disavow him. I just want to make that clear to all you Antifas. I disavow William
Well,
Pierce.
it's interesting because like a real neo-Nazi
Okay.
would probably know who that is straight off the bat and have a
Okay.
comment on that.
Okay. And I
Do you
disavow
know?
David Duke. I disavow Richard Spencer.
Do
Just want
you
to make that
know?
clear.
Do you know what the word or the term cosmotheism means?
Cosmotheism. Is that like bio-Leninism but harder?
No. Cosmotheism is a religion based around
Oh.
this, essentially white nationalist transhumanism. So
Oh.
basically, it's
Okay.
basically it's the end game of the Nazi regime. So basically, what
Okay.
happens is when a Nazi sort of world gets set up, it's always genetic improvement. It's always based human stock
Okay.
improvement. And that eventually
Mm.
creates better technology, and those people transcend to
Mm.
rule the universe as gods. It's
Oh,
essentially
okay.
transhumanism in a white nationalist context, mended into a religion.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I don't know
it
if I'm
doesn't mean
that.
anything to you, though.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm that based. I mean, I'm definitely a cock compared to
Well,
those
that's
people.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
no, I'm a big cock on this issue. I'm probably very, very alt light on this. But you know, those Cosmo people, I'm willing to talk to them about aesthetics. You know, maybe we could like bond on situationism or something.
All right, cool. So your trigger warning website's going great. Tell us more about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so yeah, we're launching a new batch of articles next week. We have a big one coming out on neurodiversity by a live psychopath named Jessica Kelly. She wrote an article called The Psychopath's Case Against Empathy, and she's also transgender. And she's a really interesting thinker because she's a psychopath philosopher who is really anti-political correctness and anti-empathy, but she's also one of the nicest people that I've ever met. And her book is just about owning your strangeness and owning your neurodiversity. And her new article that's coming out is going to be really, really interesting. And that's getting released on Tuesday. There's another article on Monday. I don't want to give too much away, but it's by this anti-PC leftist, and he's talking about how he feels about the alt-right from like a far left point of view. And it's going to be really cool. So we're excited to relaunch. We've got like a few sci-fi kind of dystopia articles that are coming out this week. So yeah, we're excited to relaunch, and it's going to be cool to be relaunching Trigger Warning during the election process. We have a few kind of tech slanted articles that are coming out too. And yeah, it's going to be a blast doing
Awesome.
Trigger Warning in the election at the same time. So, and I know you were talking about maybe like having one of your friends submit an article too. So yeah, kind of like just conglomerating all the media and politics all together in the same branch. I like how this is going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and I think it's a good website, and it's a good place to vent, free speech and unusual ideas. If I put it like that, I don't mean to offend, but
And anybody
it's great.
is welcome to submit articles. Triggerwarning.us. We have a contact form. And just to be clear, we don't care what your views are, as long as you have something interesting to say. You are welcome to submit an article.
All right, yeah, I gotta preach about that a little bit more, because that's a valuable resource for people to access if they can. Yeah, tell us about legal cryonic protections, patient protections.
Yes, there are
The
so many
new
people right
news,
now.
Alcor.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alcor just gets into one legal scandal after another. I mean, they've been a PR disaster for the entire transhumanist movement, and with the recent things that have been happening to them, I mean, now they're begging for money for legal help. I mean, what hasn't gone wrong with them recently? So I think it's really time to give protection. to cryonics patients legally. It's time to make sure that cryonics is subsidized, that it's affordable, and that cryonics is not something that is so hard for people to obtain, and that we don't have tragic instances where people end up getting horrible burials, cremations, where people are frozen in a safe manner in which their wishes are honored, where their bodies aren't chopped off in a way in which they don't want. So legal protections for cryonics patients, I mean, we're talking about curing death and curing aging. So let's make sure that cryonics patients have legal protections. Let's make sure that in this future of curing aging and disease, that cryonics patients get the treatment that they need to have a safe afterlife. First and foremost, legal protections for cryonics patients. And if you really care about curing aging, and you really care about what happens to people when they have these cryopreservations, vote for me in the transhumanist primaries. If you care about cryonics, I am the only presidential candidate who has a focus on cryonics in the transhumanist primaries. And it's so important to me after hearing the stories of what have happened to people at Alcor. They've come to me personally. I'm exposing a lot of people in my book about Silicon Valley corruption, and they've come to me and they've told me what have happened to their relatives that have had experiences at Alcor. And I just want to make sure that these experiences don't happen to people again. So please, if you want good things to happen to people that are involved in cryonics, then make sure to vote for me in the upcoming election.
I want to probe you on this cryonics thing for a bit more, because it's very interesting. So the cryonics patients, are they dead or alive or both? Who are you worried about? Who are you campaigning for?
The people that are signed up for cryonics that may not have enough money to have proper suspensions.
So they're alive.
They're alive now. But what I've heard from many parties, unfortunately, is that they did not have proper suspensions because they didn't have enough money. They pissed off certain people at Alcor, so their bodies were disposed of improperly. They were not given the suspensions that they asked for, if they were even suspended at all. Just horrific things happen to them, and I just want to make sure that doesn't happen to people in the future, and we need to secure their legal rights.
So let's keep going with this because this is incredibly interesting. What is your budgetary measures? Are you talking about a monetary figure? Are we talking millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, federal grants, state grants? What are we talking about? We're talking about money.
I'd like to see more federal grants going to anybody that is signed up for cryonics as part of the Transhumanist Party platform. I think that as we begin getting funding for transhumanism in general, as we have public education on transhumanism, a lot of the money going to that education needs to go to these legal protections for cryonics patients too, because the education, the money going to the education should also be going to educating people on cryonics, and by extension, that money should go to creating these legal protections for the cryonics patients too.
Would you like to see more companies rising up to challenge other companies like Alcor, or do you want a more socialized cryonics system, a more government-focused cryonics system, or a mixed system?
More companies. We have the Cryonics Institute now. I have heard very positive things about them. I know people involved. There's Trans Time, who I've also heard good things about. I've talked to Will McGinnis. We've had good experiences with him. I'd like to see more companies, more affordable options. So yeah, more companies. Cryonics should be affordable to everyone. When Ben Zion accused me of being a street urchin, what I'm thinking is like every street person should have access to cryonics, even the homeless guy in the 10 or whatever, he should have cryonics available to him. So yeah, more companies.
So more companies, but you do want to subsidize them or give cash to people?
I want to subsidize cryonics on a federal level, but I also want to see more companies at the same time. I think that everybody should have the chance to have cryonics available to them at whatever level is possible.
So it's a
cryonics for everybody.
It's a mixed policy of federal incentives with company
Yes.
incentives.
Yes, I think that all companies should be able to have cryonics options, but I would like to see almost like a Medicare program for cryonics for people that are that have the least also.
All right, so another campaign thing, platform, policy you're really big on is ending the overseas wars. Is there new breaking news on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is really big on this too, and I remember reading something that she said that was very, very inspiring to me. She said, "I am willing to talk to any brutal dictator in the world if it means ending overseas wars and stopping regime change to bring our troops home." And that really hit hard with me because people had accused me of being a neo-Nazi and all that bullshit, simply for like having talked to people on the alt-right. And I thought of like how much that hit close to home with me just because of people that I had talked to. Well, yeah, I was willing to talk to whoever I talked to because I wanted to find out what I could do in order to make things better for everybody, just like Tulsi does, and just like she continues to do. And she talks to brutal dictators to stop overseas wars from occurring. And she'll talk to whoever she needs to because she wants to stop regime change. And that is what we should be doing. We should be stopping these overseas wars through any means necessary. We need to bring our troops home. We need to stop this Cold War from occurring. It is senseless. We have no reason to be at war with Russia, Venezuela, Afghanistan, Iraq. This is senseless. Why are we spending money on this? It needs to end. Enough is enough.
So, for example, let's just say there was two ethnic tribes or two religious tribes. They were rising against each other and genociding each other. Would that be a scenario where the U.S. should step in and prevent them from genociding each other? I mean, as the world policeman, would you justify a war like that?
It would depend on the circumstance. I mean, like I'm inclined to say yes if it was an extreme measure like that. I mean,
Well, you have
you would have to.
examples like the Houthis and the Tutsis or something.
I would have to know more specifics. I mean, I'm inclined to say if it was at a level of genocide, then sure. But I would have to know more specifics.
All right, let me put it to you like this. Let me put a real world scenario. South Africa, the white farmers there. You wake up, you're the president tomorrow, and you know there's a genocide going on there, and the white South Africans are fighting in a war. Intervention? No intervention.
We need to take care of ourselves at home. We have so many problems going on in America. We have American workers that are suffering with horrible diseases. We have homeless people dying in our streets. I think we need to take care of what's going on in our own soil first.
All right, so
Not that I think what's going on over there is okay. And I think that at that level, there should be some kind of intervention after a while. But first, we need to take care of what's going on at home.
So, yeah, okay, cool, very cool. All right, so no more overseas wars and overseas interventions. Okay, what do you think of the Epstein scandal that's rocking the boat?
I think it's horrific that Humanity Plus took money from them, and I will not be silent about it, despite what other candidates in the transhumanist party election have said. I will not be silent. I will continue to speak out against pedophilia and corruption within the transhumanist ranks. It is not okay to take money from a child rapist. And I'm going to ask everybody who's listening to this, if you get a child rapist and he offers you money, are you going to take it? I'm not. And if you find out that a child rapist has given you money, are you going to be like, cool? I'm not. And that's what I got to say about that.
Is this a campaign issue though? Because this is Humanity Plus. This has hardly anything to do with the campaign in a way. The party. It has nothing to do with the party.
Well,
I mean,
to be clear,
do you have a vendetta against someone inside of it? Inside of H Plus.
Ben Zion brought it into the campaign, when he talked about how I was saying negative things about Humanity Plus during the debate. I mean, he brought it up. I did work inside Humanity Plus, and it was a very corrupt organization. And I think that it was relevant because the Epstein scandal was going on at the time. But I don't have a vendetta against members of Humanity Plus, to be clear. I have no problem with members of Humanity Plus. I only have a problem with the leadership there. Yes, I did have negative experiences with the leadership there, but I have absolutely no problem with the members there. Never did. In fact, I'm happy to talk to members of Humanity Plus. To this day, I'm still friends with many members of Humanity Plus, and they agree with me about the leadership there. They have the same feelings that I do.
Does it matter that the donation was before the conviction? A long time before.
A lot of the leadership knew after the conviction and said nothing about it. That's my problem with it. They said nothing after they found out. If they would have just come out and said something, that would have been a lot better. They could have said something, but they didn't. And you need to speak out against that kind of corruption. You speak out. When there's corruption, you say something about it. That's what you do. You speak out. That's why we have the First Amendment. We speak out against corruption. That's what it's there for.
So, do you think this scandal is going to go away? Do you think that's the end of it, or do you think that are you gonna make sure it keeps in the news cycle?
Look, I'm not going to blow it up into a huge catastrophe. I mean, I've said my piece on it. I think there are other issues that need to be addressed. I mean, I'm running because I want to make transhumanism popular. I'm running for president because I want to do outreach and make transhumanism a big thing for the arts and for culture, and because I want to raise awareness in the arts and the music and the film and the entertainment industry about transhumanism. So no, this isn't about a vendetta. This is about me making transhumanism popular in the art world and making technology popular in the art world and making art and culture popular in the transhumanist world. So no, I don't plan to drag this out, but I'm not going to stay silent about it. But no, I'm not going to make that my whole campaign. Of course not. That would be silly. That's not productive to anybody.
Going on about your speaking out against elites, you're writing a book about the whole thing, about Silicon Valley elites and others who you say have done wrong. How's your book going?
It's going great, actually. Well, I'm still writing it because all this new stuff keeps coming out. But I'm really enjoying it because at first it was kind of a drag because it's an investigative memoir and there is a lot of dark and dirty stuff. And I have been interviewing people that went through things a lot worse than me. I talked to a woman on the phone who was crying to me for 2 hours, telling me about horrible things that she experienced, truly, truly violent things. And that was really harrowing. But, I started making it kind of funny. And I came up with the quote the other day. I got a kick out of it. It was, if you're begging to get a seat at the bad guys table, you might end up licking the bum of the horse at the incubator. So, and you really learn, like if you're walking into a den of wolves and you're like, accept me, you're going to end up licking the bum of the horse. And that's kind of like a lesson that you learn, when you're dealing with people like that. And, you learn the hard way, and other people, they might learn the hard way. You go in, you're trying to be one of the big guys, and you just end up getting the short end of the stick, and you end up doing a lot of dirty work. You go in, you're like, look at me. I'm a hardcore Machiavellian. I'm a sociopath. Accept me. And you know what you end up doing? Licking that ass, right? And it's a lesson that everybody learns. And it's going to be an entertaining book. There is a lot of corruption that I'm exposing, and it's very raw, but it's also very funny. And it's going to be popular. I have an agent. I have a great cover designer. This isn't going to be like some underground cult classic. This is going to be a popular book. And I think you're going to get a kick out of it. I'll send you a copy. I'll sign it. And the book is not over yet. That this is going to be in it. So, that this is going to be one of the chapters. The book isn't over yet. We're living it right now.
Chapter detonation. I like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout out.
You mentioned during the debate that you have been going to the Church of Perpetual Life. Tell us about that very quickly.
I've really enjoyed my interactions there. Neil is a great guy, and I really like what he's doing over there. It's a beautiful place, and there's a great crowd over there. You've got some people that are very, very focused on life extension. You've got some people that are just kind of there to network and meet other people that have similar ideas. You've got people that make really good food. I just met this incredible chef there. And I was doing the keto diet for a while. She made the best keto food. You've got young volunteers that are really into space engineering. And it's just a great crowd full of just really interesting people who are pioneering human evolution. And every time I've gone there, I've had a great experience. So I recommend anybody in the South Florida area, go to the Church of Perpetual Life, check it out. You will have a great time and you will meet really cool people.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Let me think about that. No, but if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
No, that's it. Thank you so much. I've had a great time. I think you did very well during the debate. It's good to see
Great.
you. It's good to see that you're energized. You don't look flat at all. You look very energized and
Great.
and
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
I did want to clarify one thing. I was accused of crying during the debate. I just want to say I was crying because I was laughing hysterically. So I want to put that fair. People will try to say, like you're crying because you're emotional. They'll try to knock you down and say like, oh, they were emotional. Yeah, like because I was laughing my ass off. So just to get that out. But truth be told, I have nothing against any of the other candidates, including Ben Zion. I know he's playing a game too, and I truly do wish everybody the best. And I know that Gennady is working really hard just to keep everything together, and I commend him for that.
you've still got H plus in your hat though.
Yeah. H plus is the symbol of transhumanism. It doesn't belong to Humanity Plus. H plus is the symbol of transhumanism.
Well,
It's
do
a
you
chemistry
think they
symbol.
hijacked that? Or you're gonna?
No, we have it. It's the hydrogen symbol. It's not owned by Humanity Plus. H plus is the transhumanist symbol. Humanity Plus doesn't own it. They never have. H plus is transhumanism. Nobody knows who Humanity Plus is. I mean, nobody even knew who they were until the Epstein scandal. No, nobody knew who they were. In fact, it's better that we don't, because nobody knew who they were before this child rapist. And you know what? It's better we forget about them because they have no relevancy anymore.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, you're gonna have to work to steal that hat back. But hey, you're looking good.
I think I've already taken it back.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just not mention those guys again. Let them go back to the Lolita Express so we can build a new humanity. Let's build America 2.0.
All right, you're looking energized. It's good. I'm glad you're accepting the 6-week extension. It might be disappointing, but it's what's happening. So thank you very much, Rachel Haywire.
That's what it is. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.